bump it up a little bit. How about that?
To make it real quick and simple. So I got to YouTube and some stuff, and I came across, I believe it's called Chicken and Rice.
Hey yo! Thanks for sharing part of your day with us. This is the Chicken and Rice Podcast. I'm Dodge P, and I'm here with my best friend, my confidant, my right-hand woman, the most beautiful girl in the world, inside and out, my wife. Say hello, baby.
Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome. I'm Ray, and I'm so excited to share our journey and everything in between with you guys. The best part about it, I get to do it with my husband and my very best friend. I really couldn't ask for anything better than that. I love you, babe. You the Now let's do this.
Yo, Chicken and Rice Podcast, episode 46. You already know who I am. You already know who she is. Let's get right to it. So to answer your question, no, I could never do a job where I might die. So that's all I'm saying.
Oh, but you wanted to be an astronaut, or if you could, go into space.
Yeah, but not if I'm thinking about if I'm gonna die. So, no, I couldn't do it. But to expound on that, I was watching a lot of the September 11th stuff that's going on now. They're showing like all the specials and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy because they're showing a lot of stuff that I didn't know happened, or I didn't know there was footage of, even though I was there.
Right.
For those who don't know, I used to work in New York City, 388 Greenwich. Actually, my first like real job was in New York at Solomon Smith Barney, which turned into Citigroup, which turned into Citi. If you're not familiar with the building used to have, I don't know if it's still out there, the red umbrella in front of it. So I lived in Philly, worked in New York, and I was up there 5 days a week. Craziest commute ever, but I thought I had to take advantage of the opportunity. So I went, and then that happened. And then I think I stayed in New York for about 2 more weeks.
Commuting sucks.
Yeah, well,
It sucks.
at that time,
commuting.
back in 2000, 2001, it only cost me like $550 a month to commute.
It's not the money, it's the time that it takes to get. It's the actual...
Sure.
Like, when you talk about traveling, I just like the destination. I actually loathe the traveling part. You don't
Right.
mind it.
Right.
I hate the plane. I hate the whole process.
Right.
I hate the hustle and bustle in the airport. I
Sure.
don't like any of that. I don't like I can't stand it. I can't fall asleep on a plane.
Right.
But when I look over on the side before, they even give you the instructions,
Right.
safety instructions, I look over and you're knocked out and I'm
Of
jealous
course.
and I'm upset and I can't sleep on a plane. Yeah, I just like the destination.
Okay.
So I'm happy now that my very short commute to work is only about 25 minutes.
Right.
If I had a little traffic, a little bit longer, and at night I get home in 15 minutes.
For me, it was crazy when I worked in New York. I lived in Manayunk, R6 to 30th Street Station, Amtrak to New York City. That commute took me, probably about 2.5 hours. And I had the worst schedule, like ever. But I thought the opportunity was so great that I couldn't pass it up. So most days, my schedule was from 12 noon to 9 p.m.
Okay.
So I would have to leave my house at like 9:30 a.m. and I wouldn't get home till midnight. Yeah.
Okay. So when I lived in King of Prussia,
Right.
my commute was terrible. Now, if there's no traffic, it's only about 40 minutes.
Right.
But I had a job in Northeast Philly
Sure.
at the time.
Sure.
This is about 06, 07.
Right.
And then I commuted in the morning, which
Oh, yeah, I
was during
remember
rush hour. So this took me about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours.
Right.
And then Fridays, when I had my other job at night, where I'm at now,
Right.
oh my God, Fridays, I would have to leave about 2.5 hours early because I would just be stuck in traffic. At that
Schuylkill.
time, I didn't have Schuylkill. I didn't have, a GPS or anything. And it's not as easy now. You could just see on your phone and see
Sure.
the best route. This is like 07,
Right.
no, 07, 08,
Okay.
or something like that. And it was just terrible. It's like I wouldn't know. I would just pray that like I wouldn't be stuck in traffic, and I wouldn't know until I hit that little curve and then you just stop right there. And then
Sure.
it's just that little short, whatever it is, 12 miles,
Right.
10, 12 miles. It would take me about 2.5 hours. So I could have went to New York.
Yeah, you could have went to New York
Yeah.
in that time and
Yeah.
been making a lot more money. That's the only reason why I went. I thought I couldn't pass up the company and I couldn't pass up the opportunity to work in New York. I like the hustle and bustle. I like the people watch. I like all that shit. It gives me like comedy for myself.
Gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
It gives me anxiety. It's like sardines. It's just too many people on top of each other, all right behind you, touching you. Like, I like personal space. I don't like all those people. It's just too many people.
So we were there that day. We kind of saw some of the chaos out of Mahogany Rose, what we called it, in the building. That's where all the executives were. So we went up there when it first happened. One of the guys I work with, girlfriend, called him, or wife, I don't know what she was at the time, called him and said, yo, this is what happened. And we didn't believe it, so we went up to see it. Then immediately after that, I'm out. So we escape out in Uptown. And interesting enough, I had to go back to grab like computer equipment out of 388 to take it to our Midtown office. And about 2 weeks after that, quit. And then I didn't go to New York City for about 15 years. So it was nuts. But back to the original statement, like watching some of the stuff I was watching today, they were showing like the firemen who were like, yo, get out of here, sending people one way while they were going the other way. I'm not sure I could even be trained to do that.
So I feel like, everyone always talks about people remember where they were at,
Sure.
what they were doing. And I still do. I was in my old house in Logan and I just graduated high school in 01 and it was right at the end of summer. So I was working at Franklin Mills Mall at the time.
Nice.
And at this clothing store, and I was getting ready to go to work. So I jumped out the shower, and I remember I had the TV on in my room, and it was a small TV, and I'm watching it, and I'm just like, did a plane just hit the tower? And then I just saw the smoke, and it was just a mess. It was crazy. I had to catch the bus from 9th and the Boulevard all the way to the greater Northeast, okay?
Nice.
So that took me a good hour and a half.
Right.
Hour and a half.
Right.
By the time I got to work, the mall was closed.
Oh, because of the situation.
Because of the situation, no one knew what was going on. So I went all the way there for nothing.
Right.
And then I came back home and I just kept watching the news. And to me, the saddest thing that like I can't get out of my head from that day and time was when people had to choose their death.
Right.
Okay, when I saw tiny bodies like flying out the window, I was just like, it got me really choked up because it's like, yo, do I burn to death in this building or do I jump?
Right.
And it's so crazy because either way, you're about to die. So
Sure.
you're literally just choosing like how you're going to die.
Right.
And I'd be really messed up in both situations because I don't like the heat and I'm scared of fire and I'm deathly afraid of heights. So I don't even know.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
tough.
even know. But I remember seeing that, and that part really messed me up when the bodies started going up, flying out the window. I was like, oh my God.
So it's crazy because
Crazy.
I'm not even sure why I was early that day, like why I had to be in early that day because I was usually in at noon. And like I said, once we got out the building, we headed up Greenwich to Canal Street, and then we just walked up Canal. And, every so often I look back and see some of the stuff that you saw, couldn't really process it. And then I looked back once after one of the towers fell and I was like, oh, this is going to look weird. And then the other one fell. And then it was like, yo, what's going on? Because we didn't know. We weren't connected to like news at that time. It was just, I want to say it was a real primitive time compared to now.
Compared to now,
Right.
everything was not like in the palm of your hand.
Right here. It wasn't right here.
So it was just kind of like, whenever you caught a TV somewhere,
Sure.
then you would watch it. Because then when I had to catch the bus all the way back home, then I missed all that stuff. And then I remember getting home and then just watching the news. And then the stuff happened in PA and then the
Right.
stuff happened in Pentagon. And I'm just like, yo, like what is going on? So it was a lot of madness that day. But it's crazy that was already 21 years
21
ago.
years. Right. That's nuts. I can't believe it's been that long. That just goes to show you how time flies. Because I'm not gonna say it feels like yesterday, but 21 years.
It doesn't feel like 21 years.
Right.
And I was watching the news the other day, and they were just saying, talking to these kids today about it, and these kids weren't even born.
Yeah, they don't.
They only know this from like history, like
Yeah.
seeing news footage and stuff like that. Like they weren't here for it. So it's really kind of crazy, but it really doesn't feel like over 2 decades at all.
So yeah, let's shift because that's it's not depressing. It's I don't know if it's called a celebration. I guess you can't celebrate tragedy, so I guess it's a memorial. I guess you're remembering the tragedy.
Right.
I'm not sure,
It's
but
just a remembrance. It's not, it's definitely nothing to celebrate.
definitely not.
Lost a lot of people,
Right.
but it's a day to remember.
So speaking of loss, we recently lost our television, so we had to get a new one, right? So you sent me to do my man thing.
Wait, we didn't have this the last podcast that we did?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
But we didn't talk about the fiasco that was the new TV, right? So when we first bought this house, I actually built this out. I don't know if you can tell. You could tell from the main camera. I built out this thing here, right? Put a TV up here, and the mount was crazy. So the TV was kind of high.
Very high. It was damn near touching the ceiling, and I was
cool.
very unhappy in the beginning because I was like, I feel like I'm watching TV like this.
Right.
So my neck, like I had to get used to watching everything like that. So
Sure.
I eventually got used to it. We had it for 5 years.
Right. So then that TV went out one day. It just said, I'm tired of working, and it stopped working. So we had to get another one. So you send me out. You say, yo, go do your man thing, buy a new TV. I'm like, cool. We had the budget. I don't know what the budget was. I know I'm always, like, I'm not cheap, but I'm kind of thrifty, I guess. That's the word, right? It's thrifty.
Everyone is cheap and thrifty with certain things.
Sure.
And we're very the opposite with other things. Like
Right.
certain things is just like, and then other things is like, whoa, wait.
Yeah, like, whoa,
I'm gonna
what?
wait till it goes on sale.
Right. So you were like, go get a new TV. So I was like, cool.
So we had a 65.
We had a 65-inch, which compared to this, which is 75, now looks small when I look at some photos like back in the day. When the TV was still up here, I could see it. And I was like, ooh. Because when we went from a 50 to a 65, we thought that was huge.
Right.
So I went out, bought the TV. I saw it. They got me. I saw the display like picture. It's like, yo, that shit is popping. Oh, and it's only $800. Sold. Got that.
Mind you, the budget was a few grand. Okay. So you can continue.
Okay, great. So it was a few grand. I was saving us a few grand. So I get buy the TV like $700. I'm gonna say $800. Get it here. I had to redo the mount. Had to make sure that it was safe to handle the new weight of the TV and everything else. So we get the TV up. I turn the joint on.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this?
What is that? What?
So he saved us a couple grand and bought us a headache, right? So
Yeah.
I was looking at it like, I feel like I need glasses again. Like it just
Right.
was blurry. It wasn't crisp, and I
Definitely.
was like,
and I couldn't
yeah.
control the settings. So what I tried to do is, because we don't have cable, we don't have traditional cable. We have YouTube TV.
it's a rip.
And we use a Roku, right? Because cable is a rip. So I said, let's cut out the middleman, just buy a Roku TV. So I bought the Roku TV, and there wasn't enough image manipulation built into the TV, so I couldn't get it crisp. So guess what? After a day of shoring up the mounting it, watching it for 2 days?
Us picking up this giant TV, putting it up, and he's like, hold it. I got screwed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna
course.
drop this TV.
Right. So we we put it up for 2 days, take it down, I take it back, and finally made the right decision. Couldn't be happier with this television here. Crispy, large, everything we needed to do, it does. Couple $100 more. Just made a man mistake, I guess, in buying a TCL. It was a TCL Roku TV.
This is LG.
It is LG.
It wasn't a couple hundred. It was more than half. It was more than twice. I
Was it?
think as much.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it was
don't-
more than
see,
twice.
I don't
It
remember.
was what we were supposed to spend in the beginning to
Okay.
get what we wanted.
Got it.
So
So that was my TV. That was my TV fiasco. I've for all.
it was a lot worse in person. Like we had to rebox that big old TV and then
Right.
drop it off, and then on a little cart because they don't help you over there.
Oh, yeah,
and
I
then
had
we
to
had
rent a
get the
truck.
other one, and we had to We had to get a truck.
Yeah,
We had to do a lot of stuff.
It's just nuts. I made a mistake, so there it is for all the men that I failed. Sorry. Next time, spend a little bit more money, get the right thing the first time. Save yourself a bunch of headache. So yeah, that's nuts. Let me ask you a question.
Shoot.
Has anybody? I'm not sure if you heard this. So somebody was trying to do another person a favor. The person who was getting the favor done for them got pissed off and kind of lost everything. So Beyonce did a song where she featured part of Kelis's song or Kelis's voice.
I think I heard something about this.
Kelis got pissed off.
Right.
Was like, yo, you didn't even ask me. So Beyonce just took her off the song. And now Kelis, because Kelis didn't own the song. Hopefully I'm getting the story right. Kelis didn't own the song. She wasn't getting any writer's credit. She was making no more money off of Milkshake, I assume.
I believe it was something like that. I think you may have misconstrued something.
Okay.
I think Beyonce did a song and she used a sample or a part or something with Kelis. And I think that Kelis was making a fuss about it. So Beyonce put her in the credits.
Oh, okay.
So that I believe she would get some type of royalty from it.
Okay.
Okay. And then I think she still wasn't happy with that. So then Beyonce just took her off.
Yeah, listen.
So then now she's not getting anything. Something to that effect. So what was your question about
Yeah,
that?
like sometimes you just got to shut up and take what people give you, right?
I mean, you're not doing anything at this point.
I
right?
know.
It's just collect. I don't see a problem with that. I would sit and collect all day. If you want to use stuff that I've already had out there and you know whatever, yeah, just pay me. And then you can absolutely use it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
If it's not trash. Now, if it was like a song, I don't know what the song is. I don't like the new music that she did. Just a couple songs I heard. I don't like any of it.
Sure.
It's just not, my taste in music.
Right.
But I don't know what song it was. But if the song is decent or decent to her, if she likes it or whatever, or even if you just want to check, just get a check.
It's free money.
Just get a check.
You've already done the song once.
Right.
Right? And I don't think you got the money that you was expecting from that song. So Beyonce really throws you a bone. Regardless of what you think about her and the situation, like if somebody's going to throw me a bone for something I've already done,
right.
That's like that's what everybody wants. Do the job once and get paid for it forever.
Right. Residual is the word.
Sure.
So the problem is people might let their feelings get in the way, or, sometimes people take things personal. Business should be business.
Right.
And if you can separate that, the more you can separate that, the better for you.
Right.
It's just better for everybody. So whether you have an issue with her, issue with the song, issue with whatever, now is the check more important, or is the beef or the issue more important? So you just have to pick that. You just have to figure that out on your own. And to me, it's like, if at the end of the day, the song's already done, whatever, just get your money.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't even know what the beef is about. At that point, she's done everything you asked her to do.
I don't know.
Gave you writer's credit and cutting you a check for your royalties. We know people who get royalties their whole life. They don't have to even work. That shit is crazy. Mm-hmm. But I guess when you think you the shit, I guess you just think you the shit and you just damage everything in your path. That's crazy. I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know who counseled her on that decision, but it was. I think it's the wrong one, but probably because I don't have a whole bunch of shit that's bringing me a whole bunch of money that I didn't, that I'm not working for, which is the dream. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To have your money just keep flipping, doing black flips.
That's different.
Doing backflips your whole life, right? So when do you think? So with that being said, let's say Kelis was to apologize. I don't know how long ago this happened. Like, do you think there's an apology window that, at some point that window is closed?
I don't know. Like, what do you guys keep doing? Putting somebody in the credits, taking it off, putting them on, putting them on. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like you say what you say and it's kind of done with. All right, fine. You don't want it, don't get it.
Right.
I don't know if they're, like, why would it have been such an issue for you to make such a big stink about it in the first place, to me? So in this particular situation, I don't know if an apology would cut it. You just kind of blew your chance, basically. That's how I look at it.
You blew your load.
So it's just silly. It's silly.
So listen, somebody was telling me a story about a couple the dude, and I don't know what she is to him. I assume it's his girlfriend, but he introduced his girlfriend that he lives with to another dude as his baby mama. Like, do you think that's disrespectful?
Okay, let me get this straight. A couple lives together.
Yeah, they're together. They've been together for like a couple years.
So instead of him saying, this is my girl,
right,
blasey blah, this is my baby mama,
right,
blasey blah.
Yeah.
It depends on how. For me, it would. It'd be like, yo, I'm your lady. I'm your woman. I'm your girl. I'm not just. And I don't know, like, if it was it like a real deal introduction or was it like a joke? Like, this is my baby mama. Like,
like, it was
real?
a real deal introduction.
Well, then maybe they need to reconsider.
That's nuts. She needs to reconsider. But the dude that told me was like, yo, I was like, what?
Well, what did she say?
So I guess in the moment, she didn't want to go off on dude. So she just, sometimes you can't control your face. Mm-hmm. So my man was saying that her face was telling a whole different story. Like,
sure, I definitely can't control my face.
Yeah.
So I know.
So if I'm like, yeah, this is my dog's mom. Like, this Travis' mom. Like, that's mad disrespectful.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Maybe he just doesn't really feel like that's his girl. Maybe that's literally just someone he lives with who's the child of his mother, and they're together, but they're not happy, or they're not this or that. Because that's not the appropriate way to introduce somebody that you're with.
Not at all. Yeah.
My baby's mom, like, no, this is my lady. This is my woman. You know what I mean? This is my girl. This is my fiance. Whatever the situation is. But the baby mom thing is almost like we're not together. I'm just your baby mom.
Right. And we all know different. We all know differently. So I was telling the dude, like, maybe it's time that y'all break up or something. I'm never one for saying stick together, stay together. I'm always one to be like, yo, y'all should break up.
Me too.
Right? Because I know how good relationships can be. Absolutely.
And I agree because it's hard. Let's say if you've been with someone for a long time and things haven't changed, more than likely it's not going to change.
Right.
People are set in their ways, and the relationship is set up from the beginning of how it's basically going to go.
Sure.
So if it's just set up to argue and set up to this and that and always bicker and fight, that's what it's going to be. Like, you're not going to wake up one day and just be like, we're not going to fight anymore.
Right.
Like, that is very hard. Now, if you get into a new relationship, you can start setting boundaries. And if you let people know what it is from the beginning, you pretty much set yourself up for success, as opposed to, that fake, this is, oh, yeah, no, it's okay. When in your mind, it's really not okay.
Right.
And then now you're mad, and then you expect them to be a mind reader.
You big mad.
And then they're like, well, it was okay. Like, what's the problem? But you should know it's not okay. No, I know that you said it was okay.
Right.
So you basically have to set all your boundaries and what you allow, what you won't allow, and everything in the beginning of the relationship.
Right.
So I'm the same way. I'm like, yo, y'all need to break up. Like, it's not working. I don't think you guys are a good match.
Yeah. And
you
people don't
just break up.
So I have this conversation all the time, and I'm just like, it is now the way you set it up, either the man or the woman, and one of you got tired of acting. So I don't know which one of you got tired of acting, but this is what happens when you get tired of fronting.
Basically.
Is it still called fronting? I don't know. I'm so old.
I'm getting old too.
Yeah,
so
when you when you get tired of fronting, you get it. You in a fucked up relationship. Part of my language. But then their comeback is always, oh well, everybody's not like your wife, like you. And I'm like, well, I just told you have to set it up the way that you want it to be forever in the beginning.
Okay, in the beginning, I wasn't like me. Okay, not saying that I've changed so much, but people will change. You will learn, you will grow.
You got to want to do that.
But also, like, sometimes you need a little bit of guidance. You know what I mean? I was a little too nice. I was one of those people that are a little bit too nice. And the funniest thing is that you taught me how to be as blunt as possible, as yes or no, right or wrong. And now all my girlfriends talk to me and they're like, yo, how do I just say no? And I'm like, just say no.
You just said it.
You just the same thing you just said to me.
Right.
Just say that.
I guess it's fear.
Well, you don't want to disappoint people. You don't want to upset people. But then you got to suck up the disappointment because you don't want to do something, or you don't want to go somewhere. You don't want to, hurt someone's feelings, even though now your feelings are going to be hurt.
Right.
So it's like, to me, happy now.
Happy Nils.
Happy Meals. I don't know what's wrong with us and mixing our words up today with black flips and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like personal happiness is the goal in life.
Yeah.
It is the prize.
Right.
So if you can make yourself happy and not saying forget everyone else's feelings, but have them set it up so that they understand that it's nothing personal, that you're not trying to hurt their feelings, but you just don't want to, or you don't feel like it, or you've won. Like you've won in life. Like you've won like the lottery in life of just like, yo, I don't have to do anything I don't want to do.
Right.
And I could do whatever I want to do.
Right.
If I'm not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. Like that's priceless.
Yeah, I tell my man in Texas all the time, like, because he talks to me and he was having some issues with his wife. And I said, bro, like, I'm so clean. I'm so clean right now, like with everything, with my mind is clear, like my life is clear, my relationship is clear. I'm just clean. I'm just like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I don't even know how to explain the feeling, right? And I know that I exude like this confidence and this like nothing in the world is wrong for me. Like, because that's how I feel. But I also had to work towards it.
Sure.
And I had to set it up that way.
Absolutely.
Right? So my friends are like, oh, but you know, not every chick is like your wife. I said, hold up, bro. I said, and I just exaggerated the number. I said, my wife has 10 friends just like her. You know who the problem is? It's us. Because we're bullshitting when we try to get with them instead of being who we are and not allowing them to accept who we are, right? Instead, we're trying to put on this act to be the man that we think she wants. And the man that she wants is just who you are. And they don't understand that. They've been fucking around for so long.
And it is true because I do have, you are the company you keep, right?
Sure.
For the most part. Not all the time.
Most times.
Obviously, you're going to have friends who are different in this way, that way, the third. But the core, I feel like embodiment of a person is going to be pretty much similar to you. Like that's who you hang out with because you guys are similar in certain ways.
Right.
I do have girlfriends. Now, at this point, we're older. A lot of them are married and stuff. But we're very similar.
Right.
Like we are considerate of each other's feelings. We are a certain type of way or whatever. So we're out there.
Yeah.
We're definitely out there. It is few and far in between because I am around a lot of people all the time and I see the bullshit that is out there today. And again, I talked about this before, and people who are dating like in this day and age, I feel like slim pickings.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But it's not, but the tree is not bare.
No, absolutely not. There is fruit.
Yes.
There's leaves. There's fruit. There's room for growth. There's flowers. You just got to find it. And like you said, don't act too much. Like just be you. But like, obviously in the beginning, everyone is a little extra. It doesn't matter.
Extra? Oh, you mean like extra,
just
like
whatever.
extra acting?
Not just acting, but like everything is extra. It's extra lovey-dovey. It's extra this. It's extra that. It's new. It's the newness.
Yeah.
Once that newness wears off.
Jinxie winksy.
Because that's, in a relationship, if it's going to be a long-lasting relationship, that newness is about a hair of the amount of time that you guys are going to be together.
Right.
So once you get past that, that's the important part. Yeah. And to me, the comfort is the best part.
Right. No, I agree with you totally. I mean, but dudes know how I am. Just, you know, how I am as a person. And they can't believe, like, that I could have any chick, let alone been married for 11, 12 years, right? Let alone been in a relationship for 14 and a half, 15 years, right? It's hard for them to understand it when they know how I am. And they say, how do you do it? And I say, how do I do what? I'm just doing me, right? Sounds like a song lyric, but it's not. And for everybody who, you know, when I was dating or, you know, even now, for everybody who can't accept who I am, I don't care.
Right.
Like, I don't have, not trying to win no great awards for being somebody else. I just want to be me and be happy. And that's the key to unlocking that happiness, is just to be who I am. But like I told the dudes that I'm around, like, yo, they out there. You got to be able to approach, number one, right? Because I know you hear a lot of corny pickup lines all the time. dudes just don't know how to approach. 2, and when you do grab their attention, you got to have some shit going for yourself to hold their attention. It's simple. I don't know how the instructions could be any easier than that.
Well, because some people's true self suck.
Well, listen.
I'm just saying, like, not everybody is for everybody, and some people just be corny.
Some dudes are corny, but even I seen the corniest of cornballs with a chick.
But if you have a good, you have a good core, a good heart, you'll find somebody eventually, I guess.
And that's coming from a woman, and best believe it, because women, I don't think women, I could be totally wrong, but I don't think women place looks as high up on the list as men do. Is that true or false? Do you think?
I think it depends.
Okay.
Because some people have types. We've talked about this.
Sure.
People only date by occupation, which is very strange to me. Only date basketball players, only date football players, only date lawyers, only date whatever.
Sure.
Some people like blondes. Some people like body types.
Okay.
I like petite girls. I like blah, blah, blah. Some people date by ethnic backgrounds. I only date my own kind. I only date the opposite. I don't date my own kind.
Right.
There's always someone, even if you say, let's say if I say I don't date Asians, there's always someone that can make you change your mind.
Of course.
Always. There's always someone that's just like, whoa, okay, I know. Or for example, also like food, like, oh, I don't eat this. Well, listen, just try it.
Right.
And try it and your life change. It's like, yo, I really don't ever eat this because I hate it. But what you just did there, wow. So because of that, me personally, I do not have a type.
Okay.
I don't looks. I've talked to ugly dudes. Tall, short, skinny, fat. Like when I say I don't have a type, I don't have a type.
Okay.
Like, okay, so like I'm gonna give you an example of some famous people that I think are very attractive to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I give my opinion?
Sure.
Of how I think they look? Go ahead.
Okay. So I've had the biggest crush for the longest time on George Clooney. I think he's very sexy.
Okay.
Okay. I think Jadena is very sexy. Do you know who Jadena is?
I don't.
So he's a singer. He was on Insecure. He has the red hair. He sings Classic Man. He's not South African. He's Nigerian, I think. Very light skinned. I think he's mixed, whatever. He's very sexy to me. But they're on like opposite sides of the spectrum.
Sure.
I think that Idris Elba is very, very sexy.
Really?
Yes, I absolutely do. So, but they're kind of just all over the place. And then there's guys that I think are sexy. They're not very, like, I think, really attractive. But to me, it's just a whole, it's how you move, it's how you walk, it's how you talk, it's the energy, it's a vibe, it's how, to me, is an energy that I'm attracted to.
Sure, I get it.
The look comes after.
Right.
The look, let me not lie. The look doesn't come after. The look is a plus.
Sure.
The look is a plus.
Sure.
It doesn't come after because the first thing you see is the way someone looks.
Of course.
So yeah, take that back. But if they happen to look a certain way, that's a plus.
Okay.
That's just a plus.
I mean, I'm not saying Idris Elba is not good looking. However, if I never saw him act and I just saw him in the streets, like
regular
without
dude
speaking, regular dude, probably less than regular to me.
Right.
As a dude. And I'm I'm not a hater. Like I'll say when I think a dude is fucking good looking. But he just, like, after seeing him on The Wire and then, you know, as he progressed, it got to a point where he became more attractive, I guess. Right. But like right out the box, not really.
I find him very, very sexy. I find him very attractive. And I think also, though, I like mature men. Like, I think that they exude a different type of confidence. Right. I like the salt and pepper. Like, I like a man who knows what he's talking about, knows what he wants.
Sure.
Like, he, you know, like a man. Like,
right.
You know, not like a little boy.
No, there's some shit that comes with age.
Absolutely. But the thing that's messed up is, like, us as women, when we age, we're like, oh, she getting old and blah, blah, blah. But men is like, oh, look at that silver fox.
Sure.
He looked like a sexy
I thought
Santa.
women were silver foxes.
Who knows? Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that just anybody with silver hair. But I like whatever.
Right.
I like whatever. Whatever attracts me about a particular person.
Right.
Is what it is.
So if you lined us all up, like me and all your exes, we would all be different. That's what, and
so different. So different.
I agree, because I don't have a type either. Like, everybody looks different, right? And it is what it is. But I just, we're on this
So
subject.
different.
We're on this subject because listen, dudes, whatever you think you could be ugly on the outside, but like, yo, if you could have something that is interesting,
Right.
you could pull whatever.
Like it's so different that I'm just gonna give you an example a
Okay.
little bit. Like
Okay.
we don't. I've asked him about his exes. We're not funny about any of these
No,
things.
not at all.
I'm even still friends with my ex. Listen, for example, you're 5'6".
Sure.
My ex is 6'4".
Right.
You're black. He's Spanish. He's
Right.
Dominican.
Right.
You have no hair. You're bald. He has hair down to his ass.
Right.
Which he gets braided and stuff like that. You're older than
Sure,
me.
sure.
He's younger than me.
Right.
He, like anything that you could possibly think of that's
Black,
different.
white. We're on two ends of the spectrum.
Complete
I get it.
different like ends of the spectrum.
Right.
So when I say I don't have a type,
Right.
I don't have a type.
Right.
I don't have. People don't believe me. No, you gotta. I don't know. I don't have a type. I really don't. Like if our energies are
Aligned.
aligned and everything is good, then it's all good.
Dudes just got to keep shooting your shot at that chick that you might even think that's out of your league. You never know what she's looking for. And a lot of beautiful women intimidate men who are not confident in themselves. And that shit is crazy to me because I don't know what that is.
The sad thing about beautiful women is sometimes it is only like the outside. You know what I mean? Like everything
Right.
else isn't pretty.
I agree, but you
Everything-
won't know until you...
You won't know until you try. Now, I do know beautiful women who are like, okay, and she's great and she's sweet and she's cool. But I know a whole bunch of them that just stand there and just shut up and just look cute because
They're
you
ugly.
suck. Like
Right.
you really suck. So yeah.
I don't know if I've ever witnessed or been a part of like that, but I've seen it happen in action where motherfuckers just shooting dudes down like all night or all day or whatever. I'm just like, I don't understand it. Like, what are they waiting for to approach them? Right? I don't know. But we always talk about, this story is super interesting. We always talk about, would you want to, how do I open this? All right. I was watching a story the other day.
Okay.
Dude is going to jail for at least 20 years.
Okay.
So if you had to, I know you wouldn't do anything that you would end up in jail, but if you ended up in jail
Right.
for 20 years, would you rather go to jail at 18 or 49 or 48?
18.
Okay. So this dude from Atlanta shot his friend in the face,
Okay.
was free for 30 years, got pulled over on a traffic stop, went to jail. They ran his fingerprints and everything, connected him to the murder. So now he's going to jail for probably 20 years.
No, I want it out the way. Like you are only young for like a certain time and you're older longer, but like
Right.
I want to end my life in peace. Whatever struggles, like just like right now, for example, my life as an example to me is like the first half of my life was straight struggling.
Okay.
Was a struggle. But would I rather do that when I was younger and deal with that? Absolutely.
Right.
I don't want to be older and still be struggling or like live fast. Like let's say if I was dealing drugs or something, I lived so fast and then all of a sudden now I'm in my late 30s, early 40s
Right.
and I have nothing to show for it and then
Right.
I'm locked up and I'm this and that. No, like get it out the way. Get
I
it out the
agree.
way and then start to rebuild and then enjoy your life as you get older. You're older so much longer than you're younger. I don't want to, come out and then I'm too old to enjoy my life at all anymore.
Right.
And now I have these crazy, experiences and scars that's going to mess me up. Like, I feel like when you're younger and you go through things, you can start healing, right? You can start healing and you start, whether you need therapy or just whatever you got to do, right? To get yourself together.
Right.
And then just start to rebuild.
Sure.
Like, if I come out of jail and I'm 70 and I just dealt with 20 years of fucked upness,
Yeah.
I'm going to be fucked up. I'm going to be a fucked up old woman. Like, I'm just going to
Yeah.
be like, yo, I what's the point of living anymore? I'm out. I've been institutionalized for 20 years. I'm coming out to nothing, no family, no nothing. Everybody's dead or whatever have you. No, man. Listen, 18 to 38. Yeah. My life would start at 38.
Yeah. And plus for men, like I think them 18 to 38, like you still trying to figure shit out.
Absolutely.
I had a conversation with somebody else about this same story. And I was like, yo, I didn't even really figure it out till I was like 35, right? That's when I really like said, oh, this is what life is about. And then started on the path to making the best life I could make.
Yeah, that's when you married me.
Hello?
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Huh?
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
You said something?
Yeah, I said something.
So, so to get away with it for 30 years, you think, yo, I got one. Like you thinking you got one, but like car was registration was messed up, license suspended, insurance was all messed up. Like, bro, like you did this and then you still riding dirty?
First of all, if you did that, you better live the cleanest life.
Oh, he was, he was assalamu alaikum.
Possibly live if you killed somebody and you think you got away with it. Because listen, I watch Forensic Files enough, okay?
Right.
That they'll get you 20, 30 years later.
Yeah.
You'll be at home thinking, yo, I don't even think about this anymore.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, are you, blah, blah, blah. And then they got
murdered. But murder never goes away.
Right.
So,
there's no statute of limitations for murder. You know what I mean? You're gonna do some type of time.
I think he was on the FBI's list, but like he got out the car, in the, I don't know what the Muslim men. He was all Africa, docile, voice all soft, and I was like, yo, he literally changed his life, but now he's going to jail for the rest of his life because you don't get a pass. Like you don't get a pass. They consider that you've been on a run. When you do a murder, you don't get to be like, oh, I changed my life. You got to do some time. And now, everybody gets answers, the family of his friend and whatever. So we usually don't pregame, but I told you that I would ask you this question. And I'm going to ask you it.
Okay, I don't even remember the question because this was a few weeks ago.
So the question was...
We've been recording like once a month maybe, so I forgot already. Okay, what's the question?
So the question was... If you could tell yourself something at these integral ages, what would you tell yourself? But, and I know this is the hard part, but whatever you tell yourself, it wouldn't change where you are today. So it'd only be like advice. Like,
okay.
Do this. So I said 18, 25, and then 35.
Okay. Okay.
And then I'll tell you.
I forgot
mine.
about it, so I don't even.
So I'll go first.
So I never think about it. Okay.
If you need me to.
Sure.
So if I could go back today, like as my 50-year-old self and talk to my 18-year-old self, what would I tell myself? I would probably tell myself to be more curious.
Okay.
Get involved in more things. I come from a small town in Connecticut. So what is it? What are they called? Opportunities limited, right?
Sure.
You're really prisoner of your environment. So you become where you are. So if I could go back and tell myself at 18 anything, I would tell myself to be more curious. If I could tell myself at 25, what would it be? I think I would tell my 25-year-old self to finish college. To finish college, like graduate from college. And then I would tell my 35-year-old self, shit, I don't know what I would tell my 35-year-old self. Because that was the hardest one. 35, I felt like I started figuring it out at 35. I think I would tell myself, I don't know. Go get your pilot's license.
But you could still do that, though.
I could still do that, but it's a little different at 35 than at 50. Like,
okay.
Brain is a little bit slower, even though I'm on top of a lot of things, like plunging back into a book. I had to get my small, when I had my drone license, I had to take a pilot's test for small airplanes. So I had to remember all of that shit. Remember, I failed the test once.
It was a lot of stuff.
When I failed the test, it was crushing. Like, I'm not used to failing. So, I failed the test one time by like 1 or 2 questions. And to the point where I was like, shit, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be. I thought I knew everything I needed to know, but evidently I didn't know enough. Weather systems, clouds, airport landings, all this other stuff, altitudes, zones, a bunch of stuff that I thought I knew, but I didn't. Okay. So those would be the three things. Be more curious, finish school, and go get your pilot's license.
Okay, so 18, 25, and 35?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to just say it now because I didn't remember the question.
Okay.
So, so 18 years old. Okay, I just graduated high school. I would tell myself, don't go to college. Okay. Now, I didn't take my SATs. I didn't want to go to traditional college.
Sure.
Even though I did well in school, I didn't particularly like school. Like, I liked being in school and like friends and stuff like that and life experiences.
Right.
But learning, even though I did well, it didn't come to me as easy as people thought. Like, I was in the magnet program. I was a salutatorian when I was in middle school when I graduated. So that's the person under the valedictorian. I didn't even know that was a thing. So I made a speech, blah, blah, whatever. Anyway, I'm not that smart. I'm smart. I was giving myself like a 7 out of 10. Out of 10. I'm not a brainiac.
Sure.
I'm not, the smartest person. I'm not stupid. I'm not whatever. I get by just fine in life.
Sure.
Okay. I would tell myself I shouldn't have gone to college at all. So I ended up going to Art Institute. And because I'm very hands-on and very artsy.
Right.
And I didn't even know what subject to pick. So I picked graphic design. Well, how stupid was that? Because till today, I'm computer illiterate, right?
Sure.
So, but the first few semesters, I loved it. It was like new drawings, paintings. It was very like me. It was very artsy, artistic, very handsy.
Sure.
And then came to computers. And when I tell you, it was just like a blockage. Like anything they did, I just couldn't get it. Like it couldn't get through my thick skull when it came to certain things. It's like different languages for me.
Sure.
Okay. So then I switched and I was like, oh, I should take photography. Now, mind you, I'm broke as hell. And I was like, damn, photography is the most expensive out of everything because cameras, equipment, this and that. So I was like, oh, fashion. Let me pick fashion design because my mother was a seamstress.
Right.
So I could sew at home. I could do this. I could practice. So I took fashion design to finish. I switched my major over. Loved it. I learned about designers. I learned about ton of stuff, history, which was interesting.
Right.
I made collections. I won best collection. I didn't even go to the graduation. I didn't really care. So it kind of tells you how I feel about school.
Sure.
And yeah, I didn't do a damn thing as soon as I finished. So it was a waste of time, waste of money.
Right.
So at 18, I would have told myself, don't go to school.
Okay.
So you would have told yourself you should have finished and this and that. I would have told myself, don't go to school.
That was at 25, yeah.
Okay. 25. What would I tell that 25 was a very hard number for me.
Okay.
Like how 35 was for you, trying to figure stuff out and this, that, and the third. 25, I was still broke. I was working 4 jobs. I wasn't sleeping. I was in the middle of figuring out relationship stuff between you and the ex. And so I had a lot going on. I had a house that I couldn't really afford to pay for. It was a very stressful time for me at around 25 years old. So what would I tell my 25-year-old self? Wow.
Push through.
Basically, like something's got to give at some point in time. So what I started to do was when I started getting with you, my state of mind started changing of just like letting go of things that I can't control.
Sure.
And just, like you said, just rolling with the punches, just pushing through. Just, you know what? I was too nice. Yeah, I was letting people stay in my life who no longer was able to bring anything positive into it. My old boss, I was working and he wasn't paying me because the company was going under, but I was sticking around because I was loyal. Like it was a lot of stuff. So I would just tell myself to basically what I did, which was just to stick it out.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And just deal with it. And at some point in time, you're going to start getting through it. And that's what I did. My 35-year-old self. Okay, so that was only 4 years ago. Okay. At 35, I was already pretty much very, very content and very happy with everything. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep hustling. Keep on, building this relationship and to the best that it could be. It keeps getting better and better and better.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't feel like we've ever taken a step like back and continued that way. Like we just continue to go forward. So I pretty much just tell myself, just keep doing what you're doing because obviously, you're doing something right
Right.
in this life. So, and then also I saw this somewhere, but I also do agree. Maybe this was the 25-year-old self that I should have told. Bend with your knees, right? Because I have a really bad back.
Is that what all that cracking is?
I have like the back of like a 65-year-old. Even
I'm sorry.
protect your back.
Yeah, I apologize.
It ain't. Stop. Just stop. It's from lifting.
Yeah.
It's just bending.
I'm
over
gonna
and
lift this
picking up
button.
stuff. All right.
Yep.
Hey. Picky.
It's not a turntable.
Oh, okay.
It's a microphone stand.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Get out of here, fart boy. Fucking farting.